it requires a certain level of like boldness and acknowledging that like the systems that we're used to navigating might not necessarily be the most legitimate paths to getting towards what we want. So when I say that, I mean like, so we can think about legislation, and we also need to acknowledge that this is going to require like a diversity of tactics, both like within these bureaucratic systems of government that we're used to participating in, and like in building collective consciousness with our folks and making sure that our people know their rights, know their options, have a clear understanding of how some of the shit that we already do as abolitionists in the first place. Like there are plenty of people who don't call the cops, and it's not based on some article that came out around how policing is a tool of multiple systems of oppression. It's just, we don't call the cops. I'm gonna call my cousin and keep my people safe. And so I think it's also like building with folks to be able to be more clear around like what the work is that's already happening, that's already abolition, and like putting a name to that and connecting it with all these other pieces of work that's happening that are also abolitionists, that are also building up the alternatives that we want. I think it requires, in my mind, I think it requires a lot more resources, time, and energy into building out and experimenting with alternatives, because it feels like in this moment we're kind of stuck in the like, we know we don't want this, but we also don't have enough time or capacity to be thinking about like what the other thing is. But now is the moment to be doing that, especially with the political climate being what it is, which I feel makes it really clear about what police are actually here to do, how white supremacy is moving through these systems and benefiting from policing. And I think it also requires us to be committed to doing work that's chipping away at the life and scope of the prison industrial complex in like really, really concrete ways. So how are we chopping away at the budget? What are the strategies around actually closing jails and committing to supporting our folks and coming back into community? And yeah, and again, I think like a lot of that starts with like education, deep study, like building sharper analysis, like with larger groups of people, and being willing to like struggle together. Because I know there are lots of spaces where the struggle is real, and I think like we need to be willing to like get stuck, take a pause, and come back to the shit, and not just go with like the like broadest answers possible. Like I think now is the time to be as sharp and specific as we can possibly be.